just turned everything off. Oh, hang on, try this. Coming back. Can you guys see me? Hang on. Any better? Oh, the lighting in here is just terrible. Hang on. Let me turn it off. And let me turn it on again. That's better. Hey, I'm Ralph Mayhew. It's great to see you. Today, we're talking about studio lighting on a budget. It's likely that at the moment you're trying to put together a video or a Zoom call and you look at videos and go, I just don't have the cash or the budget to do nice lighting. Well, I've got some solutions for you today, which I hope will really help. If you didn't catch my last video on how to shoot a video of yourself with no gear, then the link is here, or in my channel, wherever works for you. But otherwise, let's begin. I thought I'd start by showing you what I've used to light me at the moment. Many of you would think, well, you're sitting outside, you don't need to light, but watch happens when we turn this on and off. You see how there's a little bit of a change, and that change, once you allow for the contrast lost in your camera, will make a massive difference. We'll go again. And you will see how I automatically look more beautiful. Now let me just show you something so that you can get a full appreciation. I am not using studio lighting today. I thought I would use something out of the garage. So, well, I'll show you what I'm doing. So this is the camera that I'm shooting on, and these are the friends that we're using to help us out. That's right, some simple floodies that you can get from a hardware store, and you can buy these like 20 bucks each, and this will do as good a job here as it will, well, inside. Let me show you. All right, now we're inside and we're in a room. I'm using a camera that can adjust to light in here, but what it normally would look like is this. Yeah, so into this, what we want to do is put our floodlights, and there it comes back again. So if you're wondering what's happened, so I'm facing the camera's about 1 meter away, and you could actually, you don't want to hold your phone, but you put a table or a chair or something to hold your phone or your iPad or your computer, and 2 meters to my 50 degrees, I've got my one flood, and the same over here, about 1.5 meters, and they're at different distances from my face to create a little bit of dynamic. If you can have a bit brighter on one side of your face than the other, it makes your features really really distinctive, and therefore your expressions and your engagement a lot more beneficial. But what happens if you don't have some floodlights? You don't want to spend the 20 or 40 bucks or whatever on going down to your local hardware store. What do you do then? Well, let me show you a couple more tricks that might help. All right, so we're in the same position that we were just before, but what I've done is I've turned the floods off and I've opened up a window. There's a window to my right. As you can see, this gives my face a lot of dynamic. It's really dark here, it's really bright here, but it's not a bad thing. Now, if I were to move back more, and if I just zoom in a little bit on me, whoop, wrong way, that's actually not too bad. Now, if I were to talk to you like this, and we'll zoom it back a little bit, not too shabby, right? Forget the mess just there, but not too shabby at all. Now, if you've got a phone, you can actually light the side of your face like that with the light in your phone battery. Just make sure it stays off. You could get a stand or someone to hold it or put it on some tables, but if you have it there, see? It just brings up your face that extra bit, which makes it more engaging and your dynamic, so people can see your expression. They're not always asking the question, why is his face so dark? Why is this so bright? It balances it up a little bit. So that's not bad with my phone, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the phone off. I'm going to open up the other window and we're going to see if the image looks any better. All right, so how does that look? Has it brightened up most of my face? I think it has. It brightens the room, and we're in a white room, and so the light bounces off the walls and the ceiling. So always remember that if you're in a lighter room, the light can bounce off different areas and light your face, which brings me to a really cheap other creative idea I want to share with you. What everybody does usually have is a white board or a white piece of paper or a white card that they can use for this particular element. So here's what I'm using. It's just, I think it's called core flute. We just had local elections, you know, plenty of this around at the moment. This isn't where I got mine from, by the way. It's not somebody's face on the back. But watch this. if you hold it just off screen, just like that, see it brightens this side of my face. Take it away, put it up. You could just rest this against something and all of a sudden you're using this light bouncing off this board coming back here, and you can use this to light any way you want. So if you are worried about being too dark down here, you can just drop it. I've just dropped it on an angle like this, so the light's going up. Equally, you can take your floodlights and you can point them up on the walls, or you can point them up on the ceiling if you're finding the light is too harsh. Which brings me to something else I want to talk to you about. In case you're wondering, I've got the natural light here. I've got my white piece of paper just here. Just have a quick look. There it is, just off screen, along with all the other junk. And I want to talk to you about diffusing light. Sometimes light is too harsh. It makes this too bright and this too dark. And so we need a way of diffusing it. Diffusers cost a lot of money, but just before lunch, Lyndall used the last piece of diffusing material in our house to cook sandwiches. And it is baking paper. And this is actually the last piece, which is disgusting and grotty. But watch what happens, right? If I put it here, you see it softens the light? It reduces the intensity and the brightness of it. And you can place this, not this grotty piece, here's a nice piece, come on. But you can use this on your floodlights, on your other torches, if it's too bright, even for you to look at, that diffuses the light, so it gives you a nice soft feel. So how nice does that look, right? So all I would need to, I could actually lower the blind halfway, I could stick this on the window and it would lessen the intensity of that light. Or if you knew someone who loved you very deeply, they could hold it up for you for the entirety of your filming time every time you want to film. So either option, see what works for you. Natural light is the best way to light ourselves, but sometimes we don't have the benefit of that. Sometimes it's too harsh like this. When it's too harsh like this, move further into a room. Don't let the camera do the work of lighting your face, because that will put stress on it. It will become more noisy and the image will look a bit messy. So you do the work of lighting your face and then put the camera on. But what I'm going to show you is what do we do if we're in a dark room, we don't have floodlights, and we need to still make a really good video that just complements what we're trying to say. Well, let's try this. So I'm in a dark room. What do you do when you're in your dark room? There's 6 windows in this room and I've blinded them all down on this camera, because this camera is really good in low light. It doesn't look too bad, but this is what it would normally look like if you're filming with your laptop or a phone in your home. Ready? This is what it looks like. And you see it's quite dark. It's very difficult to make out my features. It starts to get pixelated. So let's go back to our original shot. And so here's how we can handle things in this sort of scenario. You take your white bit of card that you had just before, and in this case I'm going to stick it between my leg and the couch so that it's off screen but still effective. Then you take your phone, and you probably already know this, but you go here to your settings thing, so your top right window, swipe down or whatever your phone does, and then there's a little you hold down the torch icon and you can change the intensity of the torch. So if you go about halfway and then you light up your white piece of paper, you can actually have the torch hanging around like this while you're talking to the camera, right? And you can move it around for a different lighting effect. You can even change its intensity. You can go down 1 and shine it more directly at your face. You can go up 2 and you can shine it more here. And what you want to do is, just before you start filming, play around with where the best place is to put your light. You might even be able to rest it on your leg without dropping it on the floor, and do that. So if that's working for one side of things, what about this side that could potentially look quite dark? To get there, I have another solution for you. Watch this. So how does this grab you? I've got my light and my white thing, my whiteboard happening here, and over here I've turned on a light. Let me just show you what that looks like. You might have one of these at home. It's just a lamp, right? Now, here's a cool thing. Say you have just got a desk lamp. What you can do is set your desk lamp up here, grab your baking piece of paper, and then we can do this. We can actually we keep our phone light on this, or any torch will do, it doesn't matter. And then to this side, we take our baking paper, we just put it over there to diffuse that light, right? You see the difference that makes? So it's bright, and then it gets diffused. Once it gets diffused, and it looks lovely and warm, Then you got some white light. So if I put myself in the right spot, move my camera back just like this. If you want to turn down your lights, if your lights are too bright and you want to turn them down, the only way you can do that with most of these set lights is to move them further back or move yourself back, which at times may mean you need to change the positioning of your shoot and what that looks like, as we've done a number of times in this video, just to illustrate that point. So there are plenty of options available to you if you don't have a lot of money to spend or you don't know what to spend it on. I'll post below a link to some lights that I bought, the proper studio lights. They're about 150 bucks. The light globes included. You can change the intensity of the lights. You can move them backwards and forwards. You can light from above as well as from the side. You have a heap of options with that, if that's where you want to go and you have the ability, you have the financial ability to do that, I would absolutely recommend that. But if you're making videos or you're at Zoom or you're doing those sort of things where you want to connect with people, but you still want them to see what you have to say, to see your expressions, to really appreciate the visual, then invest in some of these little hacks around the house that can give you and your audience a better experience. What's this? Glasses. What if you wear glasses? I wear glasses to read. I do a bit of lecturing online, and I have to be careful where the lights are, because if your light is in the wrong space, it can become very distracting on your glasses. You see my glasses, what my glasses are doing there? So you've got this weird sort of reflection happening here, your light here, and likewise, if I light up again my board, and I put my board just here, so my board is off frame, right? And I'm talking to you, but you can see my board. If I have lights like floodies, you will see them stuck in the middle of here. Likewise, if I have a light that is quite bright and not diffused, then it will have this effect. Now watch this. We diffuse the light here. You have a larger footprint of light that can show up. So just be aware of the different footprints that lights lead. And this light is horrible on my face, so we are going to wrap up in a different light source. If you film into a window, like an open window, so if I turn this around like this with me and I film like this with really bright in the background, you get heaps of glare here, and if there's nothing here at all, I become a silhouette as your camera focuses on those things. Always really important to put your camera straight, but also not film with a bright white light source behind you, because it doesn't do anything for you. And how good is natural light? You just can't beat it. It looks so good. It does play havoc on your audio though, but we can talk about that in the next video. For now, if you want to give me a subscription to this channel, that'd be amazing. You do that down below. Same with the thumbs up to say you liked it. Just helps more people engage with this content if it's helpful for them. And I will see you in the next video. See ya.